Hello, Debolito here again. We're going to continue with America's symbols and what they represent and point at the nature of the nation, how it's supposed to be. Okay, all the symbols point to a common, how do you call it, common concept of how the nation is supposed to be, how it was meant to be and to form itself. Okay, and today's concept is going to be e pluribus unum. This is a Latin term for out of many one. It is a traditional motto of the United States, appearing on the Great Seal, along with Annuit Coeptis and Novus Ordo Seclorum, which appear on the reverse of the seal. And this time we're going to focus on E pluribus unum, because this is very important. E pluribus unum tells you how the nation is supposed to be. Okay, out of many one. What does that bring to mind? When I say e pluribus unum, one out of many one. Well, let's see what that's about. The e pluribus unum has 13 letters in it. If you count e pluribus unum, it has 13 letters. And this is symbolic of the 13 original states, like the 13 stripes of the US flag. The year 1776, we need to go back to that year. The year of the foundation of America adds up to the number 21. You add the digits 1 plus 7 plus 7 plus 6. It's number 21. The number 21 in the sacred tarot and numerology represents the world card. And what does this number tells us? If it means the world card in the tarot, the world card is the last card of the whole cycle. Okay, so basically it represents the end of a world, or the end or completion of a cycle, and the beginning of a new one. The reason the nation was born in the first place was because Europe in those days was a total mess. And so the founding fathers and mothers envisioned a new world and society where people would stop bickering and fighting over everything, so they would experience relative peace and stability and would enable a new type of society to arise or to be born. Hopefully, one that would live by the principles of the Enlightenment, not the principles of any church or religion or ideology, but the principles of the Enlightenment, or at least strive to do so, and so break free from the ugly past. The 17 in 1776 is the star card in the tarot, and it represents hope, peace, a light at the end of the tunnel. It's interesting that America has represented that for a long time. In the world, it has represented hope and relative peace, unfortunately, until now, which is starting to break up. But this hope and peace is what most people from the world have wanted to move here. The 76 of the 1776, you add 7 plus 6 adds to the number 13. Okay, that's the number of the 13 founding colonies. The 13th card in the tarot is the death card, representing transformation, rebirth, and change. So the 17 represents the star, 76 represents the 13. And there you got the flag of the 13 stars, the first flag of the United States, representing the 13 colonies. When you add both the number meanings, you get the 13 stars flag or union of the 13. The 13 adds up to 4, as in the emperor card or symbol, and the square, which represent foundation and stability. The nation was meant to represent a healthy change from what had been taking place in the past, in hopes that it would help lead to a healthy transformation not only of its people but also to be an example to the rest of the world. E pluribus unum is about plurality and one, many out of one, and one out of many, which is what the United States has been about since its foundation. It is an integral part of her makeup and character, and it is for a purpose. It was said to be this way because of the continued wars and bickerings in Europe and the world throughout the centuries. It was meant to be a global village or integration or union of peoples living and coexisting with one another in relative peace and security. Unlike what was taking place back in Europe, where diverse cultures were at each other's necks all the time. The 13 number is after the 12 constellations and the Mother constellation, which is plus 1 equals 13. These are the stars from whence humanity comes from, and which expected to help build a new age based on light. Sadly, throughout the centuries that followed, man has continued treating each other horribly, killing each other, abusing each other, destroying entire cultures and rich traditions and knowledge. And so it was envisioned by the founding fathers and mothers to change that through the birth of the nation. Will people in America live up to that vision of centuries old? Because this is very important, especially what's going on right now with certain powers of this world violating the E pluribus unum, breaking apart the relative peace among peoples, and doing all this nonsense on purpose in order to stop the great American experiment from happening, which is basically just beginning. This is the beginning. Now that the nation has gone through a very long road of mistakes and successes, now the question is, which road are you going to take, America? Are you going to take the broad road that Jesus spoke about that leads to destruction, where you can do whatever you want without any accountability and consequences? Or are you going to take the narrow road, which is most difficult, but it leads to, in quotation marks, Jesus said eternal life, but in this case it would be continued life and the success of the American experiment into a beacon of light for all nations. And here I'll stop. Sincerely, here the one who is many and the many who are, talking to you as one. Bye.